Hey, it's Nate with Big Hot Homestead, and I'm out here. I am back in a spot that we recorded in the early days of starting the channel. We had originally had a landslide just a little distance behind the house here, and we never really finished cleaning it up. I definitely learned a lot of using my saw and doing some other stuff here on this first project, and we were trying to clear it out. It's a lot to do. The goal here was to basically get it where we could drive back through here. So tonight, where my goal is, underneath here there are 2 logs that are attached over here to the trees. I'm going to go ahead and cut them off, and I'm going to see if the tractor will pull these out, and then I can get cuts on those 2 logs and we can go ahead and mill them. Once those logs are out of there, then there should be no reason why we can't go ahead and get passage into here and be able to retrieve more firewood. There's a ton of firewood in here. There's a really nice maple that came down over here. So that's the stuff I want to get a hold of. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get the trimmer out here. We're going to clear out some of this growth so that I can see things a little better. And from there, we're going to go ahead and do some cuts. Then I'll bring the tractor over and we'll have some fun. So let's get to it. All right, so like I said, I was gonna trim this up some, and I wanted to do it before I really, whoops, going everywhere here. So up here is where I was telling you about. It's a big old maple there. I believe that might be an ash across there that I'm pretty much just gonna make it firewood. This one is definitely millable. And then over here, I'm kind of torn on these. I thought it was birch, but it might be buckeye. So, which is junk wood I don't really care for. When I cut it, I'll know, because the birch has a really good smell to it. So with that said, this kind of goes down about 20 feet out there where those are. So really the plan is, I already cut one off here. I'm going to cut this other one off, which should allow it to fall. Just gotta be careful I don't pinch the saw. And then ultimately it'll be probably hooking up the tractor and then trying to pull it out where I can cut it more. So we'll see what happens. This is a lot easier than the other behind the trail behind the church project. So, but let's go get the saw and then let's get our first cut. Some serious tension. Oh my goodness, I knew it was gonna bounce. There was some tension in that thing. But what kind of wood is it? I think it's birch. Woo-hoo-hoo. That was a sketchier log to do. All right, so that's cut, that fell down. And I guess that stuff is kind of sketchy, how it all is. I might have to go to the neighbor's property over there to get the tips off of it. But you saw on this one how crazy it was, is the amount of tension that this log had from the rest of the weight down there. And you can see how high up it lifted here, and it was freaking me out a little bit here. But that's why I was hiding behind the other log over there, is in case it kicked, there is a second log right beside it. And I was hoping that would kind of protect if it did kick sideways. But that's one of the big dangers with cutting wood, is tension. Tension will get you. I mean, that log is under tension, it can whack you with thousands of pounds of force. But we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut a couple more things and then bring the tractor out here and see what we can do. And all right, next log here, we're gonna get this maple cut into a few sections and see if we can kind of pull them out of here. So that said, let's get to it. Okay, so where we're gonna cut is I'm gonna cut pretty much these smaller branches off here, let them go. But first I gotta take care of, I think, that ash that's leaning on it. Reduce it some and then kind of come over. So we're gonna go ahead and move our way over there and do some cutting. All right, we're making progress. Now, maybe like, why are you cutting so many small rounds? Because if I get that over there cleared, then that means I can bring over the UTV, which means then I can gather up all the firewood in this area. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my blade chain replaced on here, and then we're gonna start cutting back these to some dimensional lengths. Like I said, this one here, man, I love the middle. Look at the dark, look at that dark in the middle there. You see that on the end of that piece of wood? I think it's probably pretty inside. Ah! I can't really mill much out of it, could I? I don't know. Maybe I will mill it. It looks pretty. All right, sun is going down. It's getting dark with the canopy here. So I'm gonna keep cutting here. I cut that branch, got my saw stuck, so I brought my little Ryobi, put a new blade on the Ryobi, and that thing is just eating the wood. So at this point, my goal is to I think I will cut it into two sections and then deal with it from there. But with that said, let's get going. All right, not bad for an after work project. Been out here for around about 2 hours, and we got all this cut, and got the one over there cut. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and, at a minimum, we're gonna get the chain around that, see if we can pull it up and pull it out of there with the tractor. And then over here, probably not gonna happen tonight because we're gonna lose light here in about an hour and 15 or less, because we're on, you can see the sun is dipping behind the mountain. Once it dips behind the mountain, I'm basically in a canopy of darkness. So with that, let's see if we can get that one out. Also, for anybody mocking that saw ever, that little electric Ryobi cut a lot of this up. I overheated the big battery, but you know, with a good sharp chain, that Ryobi is a beast. I mean, it was cutting that big old log there like it was nothing. So, and you can see this is where I was cutting with it. Look at that. That is a nice sharp chain. So, okay, now let's go move that log. All right, we got the tractor out here. I got the chains out here. Oh, got caught on something. So, oop, slipping. Okay, so we got the chain over there on that part of the log. Hopefully when I pull it, it will twist it out of there, and I can find where I can cut it further down and get some nice wood out of it. The very end, I split like 2 foot of it, so I don't know, may have damaged it there, but I just got it loaded up here right on the front. We'll see if that does it gently. If not, I'll turn the tractor around and we can pull a little harder with the rear than we can the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you down so you can watch all this excitement. Wish us luck, and this is something we need to do a long time ago. All right, start this little beast up. Safety first, always put your belt on. No matter what you're doing, how far you're going. And start her up. Put her in forward low. And let's see what happens. She is in there pretty good. So this ain't gonna do it. She started digging in the ground. Wait, did I not take the brake off? Nope, not gonna work. All right, give you a little more up close here. So the root ball is somewhere over here. You see another tree we got here, but I think that root ball is up in this area over here. So based on that, I really just need to cut it about here, because again, I'm trying to get to that path. This is one of the things in the way. Then I can put the bucket on the tractor and we can scoop it out and we can finally get access there with the UTV. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna get the dirt off of that, and I'm gonna sacrifice a chainsaw chain here to the dirt gods, and I'll just resharpen it when I'm done. But let's do it. Oops, forgot to record it. I went through it. There were sparks. There were all kinds of things going on. The blade started cutting at a really steep angle. I don't know if you can see it at the end, which is indicative that the blade was completely shot by that point, because it was not cutting well. So that log is free. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull this out of here. See what we got. All right, so this time this should pop right out of there and not embarrass me. There's a lot of tree that was buried. All right, I made all that noise. We got it to move, but where it's mounted to is not gonna be conducive to the ultimate move where I wanna put it. So we're gonna go ahead and untie it here. And we're gonna switch it out to be up here. And then just yank it on out of here. Okay. That should work. Fingers crossed. And pull it on out. Woohoo! Yeah, come on, baby. Okay. I'm just going to drag this down to where I can get the log hauler on it. I am impressed here tonight. 2.5 hours. We got that off. I got this one log I need to get out of there. There's more in there I might pursue later, but I need an excavator, something here to really kind of work that. And then over here, we got a ton done. Whoop, slipped as well. So we got this ash all cut up, and then we have this maple done. The maple, I have another cut in here, but it got really weird right there. So milling it, I would have wasted a bunch. So I'd much rather have a shorter, wide piece to do some really cool planks on it. But you can see there's tons of firewood out there. But look at that core of that ash. I think it's, man, I think it's gonna be beautiful. That's actually what I'm looking really forward to milling out of all this. So, and then we were able to get one log down there extracted. So that can get milled, add that to the wood pile. So we can have a milling extravaganza, and it's pretty good. All right, Nate with Big Hot Homestead, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed the content. This is, like I said, where we originally started here. There's still a lot of logs. I knew they were kind of easy to get to. Because we are really getting into milling again, you can kind of blow through the supply pretty quick. So we went ahead and got this guy cut so that I can go ahead and we can get it over to the mill as well. And then there's all those other boards, or all the other logs that we got down in there that are fantastic. I mean, you saw them, there's some big ones in there. They're gonna make some beautiful wood. So we will bring, what I'll probably end up doing is hitching up the thing to haul the logs out. So we'll pull the logs out, we'll hitch them up to the log skidder, and we'll skid them out there. So not gonna happen tonight, but like I said, I was gonna go ahead and get what we can done. And this is my second job, the homestead life. So hope y'all, if you like it, share, subscribe. You know, if you like this content, just watch, hit that like button. You know, let me know that what I'm doing is you're enjoying it as well. And with that said, have a good one.